Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Late Show. I'm Nelson Late. Glad to have you guys here again for another program. Today, we're going to be focusing on travel tips. I got quite a few things to tell you about that. Ways to save money, ways to enjoy your time off now that the weather's getting better. It's about that time, and this is where most people, myself included, plan on time off, vacation time, a couple of weekends off, or whatever the case may be. The weather's getting better, and we got to enjoy it, don't we? We all need some time off. We all need some breaks. So this is just a way to help you save money and get some more enjoyment out of that time off. I have a lot to talk about. Just want to remind you and thank you for being a part of this. I have very randomly doing these shows. Excuse me. They are live. You could interact with me right now if you go into our chat room. Um, I try to do once a week average, but there will be weeks where I won't be able to. That is the case last week. It was just a busy week for me. As you know, this is a little side gig slash hobby that I do. It's not my full time gig. So I have to prioritize things in my life, including my family, of course, my children. They come above everything else. So I may not be able to be here with you guys every week. We are hoping that we could indeed do it more often, but as of now, this is where we're at right now. So either way, I'm excited about having you here. Welcome out there, and let's get started, shall we? So the first thing I want to talk about when you travel, and this is kind of a common sense thing, but not many people do it. The first thing you want to do is create a packing list. Now, whether you're traveling by plane, which obviously is very important to pack then, but if you're taking a road trip, there's stuff you need to take with you, or if you're just going for a day hike, packing list is very important. Why? Because you don't want to leave anything that you need behind, right? So you need to make a list and add all the details, everything that you need to bring with you. Sometimes it might be something as common as, clothing. Obviously, you need clothing for colder nights, clothing to go swimming. But also, there's always items that you might want to bring with you. Obviously, toothbrushes, toothpastes, soaps, shampoos. I don't really use it, but a lot of you do, as well as personal items that you might want to carry with you on a trip, such as, a book, an iPad, even though you shouldn't even be on the internet, if you're doing a vacation. But, people need some downtime sometimes to go on the internet or even post photos. So if you don't have an iPhone or an Android, a smartphone, you probably want to bring a tablet or an iPad with you to post and take photos as well. Of course, a photo camera is very important to save those memories, although most people do those things with the phone. But it's important to create a list of what you need to travel with you, so that you're not caught off guard. I want to say hello to Rosanna Vinagre. Hola, Rosanna. She is in the East Coast. She said, hello, Nelson. How are you? I'm doing well. Hope all is well with you guys. Oh, and meu primo, Anselmo Ferreira. Grande abraço. Eu ia dizer viva o Sporting, mas sabes que eu não sou fã do Sporting. Mas grande abraço para ele. Ele está ali na área de Lisboa. So, a big hug to Portugal. Tem que continuar a falar inglês, so the show is in English, so I have to keep speaking in English. But that's my cousin Anselmo. So yeah, all of the packing, start with the packing list. That's very important. Now, if you're traveling by car, there's a lot of misconception about a lot of things related to car, especially with fuel. Okay, I used to do my podcast. There was an episode that I focused on that, so I'm going to talk about ways to save money on fuel. First of all, it is a misconception, and it's incorrect if you think that premium fuel is better than regular fuel. It is not. The difference between premium and mid grade and regular is the octane level. Regular is usually 87 octane, mid level is about 89. Premium could be 91, 93, 95, or even higher. It does not mean that the gas is better. It does not, and that's a misconception. I've spoken with many friends along the years that said, "Oh, I only put premium because I want my car not to have any issues, and I don't put that cheap gas." No, the octane level is basically how an engine runs. Um, abraço para Claudia. Claudia Diaz, who is in South Africa. Good friend Claudia, how you doing? Welcome. So, octane level means compression on an engine. So, if an engine is designed to be a high compressed engine, and I'm going to get technical with this, so bear with me. If an engine is designed to be a high compression engine, it needs higher octane level because a higher octane gas handles higher compression before explosion. What does that mean? Higher octane engines, higher compression engines are usually high performance engines. In Europe, most of the small engines are high compression engines because, you know, they need to get as much horsepower out of a 1.2 liter or 1.4 liter four cylinder engine, so they all require premium. Also in Europe, their octane levels is higher than ours, so you don't find 87 or even 89 just about anywhere. One of the reasons gas is also more expensive there, because those engines there are all pretty much high compression. In America, it's a different story. If you have a regular car with a regular engine, it'll run on regular. How do you know what yours is? I'll tell you in a minute. So putting premium in a regular car does nothing for the car. Putting regular in a premium car, however, causes pinging, which is a problem. So you need to be very specific about which car do you drive. If you have a regular only car, put regular in it. Now, there's different brands of gas from Shells to Arcos and to Chevrons and Mobil, everything in between, right? Branded gas is considered top tier gas. Top tier gas has additives. You put additives in the gas to keep your injectors clean and your valves running great, all that stuff you hear in the commercials. Sometimes lower level, cheaper, no name, no name brand, excuse me, cheaper no name brand gasolines do not have additives. Do you need the additives? You do. However, you don't have to get them from your gas. You could simply add a bottle of fuel injector cleaner. I'm not going to get paid for this, but I like to use Lucas brand. They have really good stuff. They have something called tune up in the bottle. It's a little bottle that you throw in your gas every 5,000 miles. How are you going to remember? Every time you change your oil. You should be changing your oil at 5,000 miles, never more than that. Every time you change your oil, that first fill up, you put one of those bottles in there and you fill it up. It doesn't matter if you use good branded gas or cheap mom and pop place gas, as long as you get a fuel injector cleaner every 5,000 miles, you will not it will not affect anything. Hi Cindy. Cindy Mendoza Aragon is asking, does it matter which gas stations you go to? Well, like I was saying, it's basically the additives that they put in the gas. So higher tier, higher brand gasoline stations put detergents in their gasoline. The lower, cheaper gas stations may not. As long as you do that 5,000 mile fuel injector clean the bottle, you should be fine because that's all you need. Every 5,000 miles, you put a detergent in there to make sure things get cleaned up. I know this for a fact because back in New Jersey, for those who didn't know, I had a limo company way back when, before I even moved to California. One of my cars, it was a 2003 Lincoln Town Car. I bought with 58,000 miles. I was able to, ready for this, sell it with 660,000 miles. Original engine, original transmission. Now, that's more than 500,000 miles. And I always put regular gas, and it was no name brand because it was the cheapest. It was close to my house. But every oil change at 5,000 miles, I would throw an additive in. And I was able to achieve that. So when people think, oh, I only use premium because if not, the car runs bad. Only if the car requires it. Now, how do you know if your car needs it or not? There's two ways to do this. The simplest way, you open your gas cap, and it'll say unleaded fuel only. If that's all it says, chances are your car runs on regular only. Then, if your car is a high performance engine, whether it's a luxury car or a sports car, it will have premium fuel, and then the next word is very important. It'll either say required or recommended. If it says premium fuel required, you got to do it. You got to take the hit. You got to put premium all the time. If you don't, you'll get pinging on the engine, and you could damage the engine over time. And as you accelerate, you'll hear the like a ting, like a clapping sound in your engine. If you ever heard that before, that's pinging. What does that do? It means that your engine is burning before the pistons at top that center. So you're not getting the compression you need. The engine's running poorly. It's vibrating everything. It's not good for the engine. And in the long run, you're going to have engine damage. So if it says premium required, you have to put premium. If it says premium recommended, that means that that engine could run on either or. So if you put premium, it's going to run at its peak. It's going to be the best thing. It's going to have the more power. It's going to run the best. But if you put regular or even mid-grade, it will knock itself. It'll adjust the timing, and it will still run okay. You just won't have as much power. But it's still okay to safe. It's still safe to drive it. So that's the difference. If it says unleaded only or regular fuel only, put only regular. If it says premium required, put premium only. If it says premium recommended, you kind of have the option. Premium is always better if the car requires it because you're always going to get the cleanest, best performance out of it. Okay. Now, fuel injector cleaner is very important, and I cannot stress this enough. So somebody might ask, okay, so if I don't put the fuel injector cleaner every 5,000 miles, but I always run top tier gas like Chevron, will that be okay? Possibly. Have I ever done it? No. I rather play it safe and just buy one of those bottles. They're very inexpensive, $7 to $10 maybe. Every oil change every 5,000 miles, it's affordable, and you're better off to prevent possible issues. So that would be my recommendation regardless. Tire pressure, very important and very neglected. Tire pressure. So I ask you, how often do you check the tire pressure on your tires? It's kind of interesting because every 2 months you probably lose 1 or 2 pounds of pressure, especially in the winter, on your tires. Now, if your tires are recommended to be 34 psi and you kind of neglect them for a while, you might be running at 32, maybe even 31. Now, why is that bad? Even though the difference between 31 and 34 might not seem the greatest, if you start dropping a little low, like 5 psi or 4 5 psi or less, now the tire is not really where it needs to be, so it starts to wear out unevenly from the outside because it's kind of a flat position instead of a firm position. It kind of sags, so it's going to wear quicker. Also, more tire contact on the road means more drag, which means more gas. You're going to be spending more gas without realizing it. Oh my goodness, my friend Sylvia Manuela Costa, first time listener. Hi Sylvia, welcome. So glad to have you here. So yes, tire pressure is extremely important. You should check it in the morning or before taking a trip because as you drive, heat creates higher numbers. So the pressure that you'll get on a hot tire is higher than a cold tire. You should always measure when the tire is cold. Now, the other side of that is I like to personally go about 2 psi higher than recommended, as long as you're not exceeding the psi on the tire. How do you know you're not exceeding it? Well, you basically look at the tire and they'll say max pressure and they'll say whatever. It's usually in the 40s or maybe even close to 50. And the average is usually in the 30s. So you could go 2 psi and have no problem. What do you get out of that? You're going to save a little bit of fuel, a little bit. It's not going to be like, oh my God, I picked up 3 miles per gallon. No, you won't. But it'll save a little bit of fuel. The ride will be a little stiffer, so you might want that because maybe you want a little bit more, performance, a little sportier performance out of your tires. So you could go a little higher. Although, again, the recommended tire pressure is done by the manufacturer of the car. They've tested all of the different combinations, and they came with a conclusion that PSI is the appropriate for that car. So if you want to be safe, just put that as the recommended. If you want to go a little bit, saving fuel and get a little bit more stiffness out of it, go a couple of PSI over. But when you go less, it becomes a problem. You start wear more of your tires, and worse fuel consumption. So tire pressure very important, and you guys should definitely check your tires. I would say, I don't know, once a month to be on the safe side. If you could do it more often, better. But once a month, before you get in your car in the morning, before you go to work, just check the PSI and make sure it's on point. Going back to the premium and the regular, all the fuel stuff, there's another way to look at it. If it doesn't have any information on your gas cap, you could always check the manual of the car, or you could Google it because a lot of times Google has all that information on there. All right, moving on. Ways to save money on fuel. There's a really cool app. Okay, and again, I'm not getting commissioned for this. I will if you join the app because I'm going to share. I'm going to share a link here that's going to give you guys an extra savings. But I'm not selling you anything. You do what you like. But there's something called Upside, and this app allows you to go to gas stations that you're probably already using. And when you enter, you create an account with them, and when you enter the information that you filled up a gas station with that credit card, so you register credit cards with them, whether it's your debit card or a credit card you use for gas, whatever it is. Then you go to that gas station, you tell the app, I'm at this gas station and I'm using this credit card. And you pump like you normally would. You're doing exactly what you always do. The only thing is you're telling the app that you're actually doing it at that gas station. What that app does is it cross references with the records of the gas station and it gives you a kickback based on what you already put in. So if you say you put 10 gallons and it gives you a kickback of a buck 50, 15 cents, you get $1.50 back. And it creates its own account within the app. How do you cash that money out? You could cash it in gift cards, you could cash it in other ways. But that's money that you get back, and you legit get that money back. I tell everybody, give it a shot once, and if you're not convinced, then just walk away from it. I think in my account I cashed out $25 for a Applebee's gift card. I got the gift card, I used it already, and I have a balance of $7 and some change in there now because I don't always use it because not all gas stations work with it, but the ones that do, if I'm in the area, that's what I go for. Now, the referral bonus, so if you were to use my referral bonus, it would actually save you an extra 15 cents. So you could get 15 cents on the app and another 15 from using my referral, and that's going to add up. The referral only lasts a couple of times that you fill up, and then it kicks only to 15 cents. You could also get those on fast food. If you like Burger King and Taco Bell and whatnot, some of that stuff also gives you a percentage back. I see Cindy saying, I'm using Upside and I've received over $200 back in about a year and a half. There you go. 200 bucks. That's basically your money that you're getting back. And it's legit. It's legit. It's worth it. It's an extra discount that you're getting. You're not getting the discount as you pump, but you're getting that money back. And you could turn it into gift cards. You could turn it into anything you want. But like Cindy said, over $200, that's a lot of money. You could do a lot with 200 bucks these days, right? You could have a night out. You could give gift cards to somebody as a gift. You could do whatever you want with the money. Well worth it. So that is the Upside referral. I will post a link on the comments once I'm done with the video here. I will post that link there. AC running on a car, air conditioning running. Now, living in the Central Valley here in San Joaquin Valley in California, it's very hot in the summertime. Absolutely. But during this time of the year, especially spring, fall, days are nice but not incredibly hot. So you could skip on the air conditioning. If you could skip on the AC and ride with your windows down, do it. Especially around town. On the highway, I get the wind noise and there's also wind drag, so your fuel efficiency won't be as good. But during the city, if you have the windows down, why not? I'm telling you, you could save as much as, you ready for this? 10 to 15% consumption on your fuel. That's significant. So if your car gets about 20 miles per gallon, you could go as high as 25 miles per gallon just for turning the AC off. So that is a major, major way to save gas. And if it's not really hot, do you really need AC? I'll be one of the people that tell you I used to do that. I used to just get in the car and run the AC all day long. And then I learned that the fuel consumption is different. I'm like, is it really that different? So I did a test. I drove a whole tank without AC, mixed highway and city driving, and I did pick up almost 3 miles per gallon. So yeah, it does make a difference if you want to save some money in the long run. And if you don't need the AC, just run with the windows down. The other thing is speed. Now, I'm not a hypocrite. Do I like to step on it once in a while? I do. Does it come at a cost? Yes, it does. The faster you go, the harder your engine has to run, and also a lot of pushback from the wind resistance. So it's extra work for the engine, which in turn turns into extra fuel. Now, how much extra fuel? Here's an example. Driving 60 miles an hour to 70 miles an hour, it's a 10 mile an hour difference. You're talking about a 14% fuel consumption increase. 14% from driving 60 to driving 70. Again, significant, significant. If you want to save on gas, that would be another way to do it. Slow it down a little bit if you're not in a hurry to get there. That's fine. And unless you're making a really long trip with a lot of miles, driving an extra 10 miles an hour within an hour, it's only going to save you about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes tops. I mean, I haven't done the math in my head. I should have done the math before we spoke. But if it's a shorter distance, like a 30 minute drive, a 20-minute drive, it's only going to save you a couple of minutes if you go faster. Also, of course, let's be honest. There's also the risk of more accidents if you're going faster. And if you're speeding, then you're risking getting a ticket, which is even worse. And so much for your savings then. So if you can, just slow it down a notch. If you don't have to be there until 10:30 and you're leaving the house with plenty of time, just drive slow. Just take your time and you'll save some gas as well. So now that we spoke all about this fuel consumption and fuel savings, we're going to kick it into where to go. Now, everybody's tastes are different. Everybody's preferences are different. I personally, I am a nature-loving person. I love going to parks, especially national parks. And here in California, we have as many as 9. That's more than any other state, in case you didn't know. And talking to a lot of my friends out here that I've met, some of them are even older than me, and they've not been ever to Yosemite National Park, or they've never been to Death Valley or the Redwoods. And I'm shocked by that, especially with Yosemite, because when I lived in New Jersey, that was definitely one of the places I wanted to visit as soon as I got to California. And when we moved out here, shortly after we went to Yosemite National Park, forget about the photos. It doesn't give it any justice. It's something you have to see with your own eyes to believe. It is a beautiful place. Nature, just the greatness of it, the size of it. It's something that if you've never seen before, I highly, and I do mean highly recommend that you go. If you go too early in the season, meaning before May, if you go right now, you get to see beautiful waterfalls. And this is when the waterfalls start coming into play because the snow is melting in Yosemite and you get to see bigger waterfalls. So they're more beautiful. However, if you go towards later May, there's still waterfalls there, but now all of a sudden Glacier Point is open. Glacier Point is an area that's closed from September all the way until May and is a beautiful drive up to the top of the mountain to Glacier Point. It's the location of it. And once you get to Glacier Point, you have a stunning view of the rest of the Sierras as far out as Nevada. You see way out. I mean, way out there. It is so beautiful. I cannot even describe how beautiful it is. For those of you who've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And from Glacier Point, you look down at Yosemite Valley, and you are over 3,000 feet higher than the valley. Just stunning. Just stunning. It is a beautiful place to spend a day or two, or more. I mean, but definitely if you go early in the morning and spend the whole day there, start with the valley, explore the valley, then drive up to Glacier Point in the evening times. Make sure you get there before the sunset because that on its own is a beautiful sight when the sun hits the half a dome and it kind of creates the shadow effect. It's stunningly beautiful, stunningly. If you want to get there super early in the morning and see the sunrise from the east, even more beautiful. But there's so many things to do in this massive national park, and that is just one of 9. I love I love the parks. I've gone to Joshua Tree, beautiful. I've been to Sequoia, beautiful. Death Valley, even though it sounds a little creepy, you don't really want to go to Death Valley in the summer because it does get extremely hot. But right now, it's a beautiful place to visit. The amount of things you can see in that valley are just stunning, and it has moving rocks. And I'm not going to explain that to you. I want you to Google what the moving rocks are. But that on its own is a very unique thing. Of course, Joshua Tree, that I mentioned before, the Joshua tree on its own, it's a very unique plant. It's if it happens if a tree had sex with a cactus, you would get a Joshua tree. It's a very interesting and a very interesting tree, and it's basically native to the Mojave Desert in that region. Very beautiful. National parks are the way to go. Absolutely. I see Sandra Cravello saying that was me. Yes, Sandra had never been to Yosemite. And guess who took her up there? Yours truly. She had never been there. And she grew up in California. And she will tell you if you ask her. She absolutely loved it. National Park Pass. Did you know you could buy a pass for all, and I do mean all, national parks in the entire country for $80 a year? Now, $80 is not cheap, I get it, but with the pass, you could go to any park as many times as you want. It is so worth it. I know the day pass for Yosemite is either $30 or $35, one of the two. So if you go 2.5 times, you already paid itself off. Or if you go to Yosemite and then go to Sequoia and then you go to Pinnacles or Redwoods or any one of those, it's all included for the $80. It's worth it. It's a great investment. It's a great way to take your family to a day doing something completely different and enjoying nature. If you have not gone to these parks, you have to go, especially if you live out here in California. A lot of people live here, and it's like, oh, un día vou. One day I'll go. Un día vou. No, make that happen right now. This summer, this spring, make it happen. You want to do it. Yosemite in the summer gets extremely packed to the point where you'll need reservations. It also starts getting really busy with the waterfalls right now. So you might want to check with the website to see if you need reservations or not, especially on the weekends, of course. But it is worth it. It is worth it. Why is it packed? Because people from all over the planet come out here to see it. It is so worth it. So that just tells you what you're missing out on if you haven't. So, let's talk about flights real quick. Now, flights, what's there to say about flights? It varies a lot. The days vary, the airlines vary, the connections vary. You have to do your research. One good tool that I use is Google Flights. Why is Google Flights so good? And again, Google's not paying me for this. I'm just saying because they have a great platform. You basically go on Google and you put the airport you're flying out of and the destination airport. Then you pick the dates. And as you pick the dates, each individual date will have a price on it. And you'll actually see the difference between flying that Sunday and flying that Tuesday, or, everywhere in between. You'll see the cheaper dates and you can plan accordingly. And you could even track those prices. So let's say you want to fly from San Francisco to Lisbon, as an example. You could put August 1st through the 15th, and you'll see the prices. Then you could track that, and you could even be flexible on the track. So if the price drops the week after the week you were supposed to return, you might want to push the trip a little bit, like a week back, and make the adjustment. So Google Flights is a great tool, and I apologize in advance for anyone that is a travel agent. But the day of the internet, people could kind of do things themselves. I know they're cutting into commissions. I get it. If you want to do it with a travel agent, go for it. I have no problems with it. I do with a travel agency for work related travel, because I call them. I said, this is what I want. They take care of it. Boom. If you have more patience and you want to save a few bucks, you might want to try to do this on your own. Although travel agents sometimes do have some good deals, so you might want to give them a shot as well. But Google Flights, great option. You'll be able to see all the prices, all the different airlines, all the options. Don't be fooled if the deal is a really good deal, because sometimes like Spirit Airlines may offer you a really cheap ticket for like $100. But if you have to take a carry-on with you, they'll probably hit you up with another 40 or $50 for a carry-on. Carry-on, not a checked-in bag. Checked-in bags are even more. So sometimes it may seem like a really good deal, but it's always good to read the fine print and say, can I bring a carry-on on board? Can I bring a personal item on board? What does this include? Are there any amenities on the plane? Are there seats? Or do I have to sit on the floor? Just kidding. They all have seats. But you get my point. I mean, you need to really research each individual airline. I love to fly Southwest, and they just recently made some changes, or they're about to. Two of the changes I kind of liked Southwest about it. Number one, they didn't charge for any checked-in bags, so that sucks. So now they're going to be just like everybody else. They're going to charge you for checked-in bags. And the other change is with Southwest, you would pick your own seats. You would walk into the plane and all the seats are the same. You pick whatever seat you like at the time that you're in the plane. And they're also going to be going into assigned seating. So the two things I liked about Southwest are about to stop, existing. So that's pretty sad to me. But, you know, I'm sure they have their reasons, and I'm not here to cry about it. But there's just a lot of options when it comes to airlines. Rosa Moreira says, never heard of Google Flights. Thanks for the tip. You're very welcome. Very welcome, Rosa, my good friend that lives in Nevada. Um abraço para Nevada. So those are some of the tips. The last thing I want to leave you guys with, and this is an important one. If you're traveling elsewhere and you need a rental car, so there's a lot of options with rental agencies, and I'm not here to recommend in each and every particular one. I have a personal favorite. If you want to know, send me a private message. I'll tell you. I'm not going to mention them because everybody's different. They all have pros and cons. But there is something about a rental car that you need to know. Rosa also said this like both Southwest changes. Yeah, so she's with me on that, as many people are, because they're giving away the two things that people like so much about that airline. They're becoming just like everybody else. So when it comes to rental cars, I sometimes rental cars stand out as rental cars. So when you rent a car, they either have a little sticker on the window, they have out of state license plates. They like I rent cars in the East Coast and they have this Easy Pass, which is a fast track equivalent in the East Coast. But it's not just the one on the window, it's a big bulky box one that they keep the device in it. And only rental cars have this. And you could either open it or close it. If it's closed, it doesn't work. Anyway, anyone that looks at a car that has that big bulky box or a sticker on the window, could be the windshield, could be the side window, it could be the back. Out of state license plates, even certain states, I forgot what the terminology is, but even certain states, the license plate says rental car. Not exactly rental, but I have another word to describe it. I don't know if it's fleet or whatever it is. If your rental car looks like a rental car, make sure you make whatever you need to make to change that. I know license plates, you can't really do anything about them because you need to drive the car with license plates. But if it has that big, bulky, fast track, or should I say easy pass box, just rip that out. Don't tell them I told you so, but just rip it out when you're not using it and putting in the glove box. The stickers, I always peel the stickers while I'm using the car. And right before I turn the car in, I put them right back. Why? There are people targeting rental cars purposely to steal. I have a good buddy of mine that lives in New Jersey, and he actually came to San Francisco to visit. And I was sad that this happened in San Francisco, but this does happen everywhere. He had his rental car. Him and his wife came to visit the city. They were walking around, doing their thing. When they got back, the car was broken into, and everything they had in the trunk was stolen. All of their bags, all their carry-ons, they had laptops, everything that was in the trunk, hidden, because it was a sedan. The fact that it was a rental car targeted, these people targeted the car, managed to break into the car, open the trunk, and stole everything. You don't want that to happen to you. So if you have a rental car and anything on it, including those stickers or anything else that appears that okay, this is a rental car, you're basically setting yourself up to be a target of someone that thinks, even though you might not even leave your stuff in there, they're going to target that car thinking that there's going to be valuables in it. Because, people don't usually leave their suitcases or anything in their private cars. Rental cars, they figure if you're traveling with a rental car, chances are at any given moment, all your belongings that you travel with are in that car. And they're going to try to hit you up for it. So that's my last tip. Going on 36 minutes here. I think I've had enough. This is just some of the stuff that I hope helps all of you guys, with, safer, cheaper, easier way to travel. I'm really excited about the summertime, just like everybody else. Although here the winters are not really that bad, but the summer is more fun. You can do a lot more fun stuff. So I'm giving you guys all a shout out. I wish you all luck. If you ever want to hit me up privately and ask me questions or send, any of those things that we talked about, send me a message. I'll gladly respond. And remember, if you haven't already, follow our late group, our late show group. I'll also put the link on there as well as the referral for the upside. Give that a shot. What do you got to lose? You might save a few bucks here and there. Like Cindy said, she's received over 200 bucks in a year and a half simply by putting the same gas she's already using anyway. So with that said, thank you guys all for being a part of this, and we will see you next time. Take care, guys. Bye, everybody.